Hey everyone, welcome back to a new video. I'm Carrie Lynn. If you're new here on my channel, I share DIYs, homemaking, vlogs, honestly a little bit of everything. If you're interested in any of that, make sure you hit that red subscribe button. But today is going to be part one to a brand new series here on my channel. We are fixing up the yard again. So after we worked on the backyard, we are now working on the side yard. So this is going to be like a little series in itself. There's a ton of work that needs to be done, clearly a lot of cleanup. We are actually going to be creating a pathway down the side yard to the back gate, and we would love to turn this into a potted garden. I'll show you guys some of my inspiration photos here on the screen just to kind of show you like what my idea is. And of course, it'll be like customized to our liking. It won't be exactly like the photos here. This is just like inspiration, kind of like a visual idea, if you will. But I did want to also mention that the whole reason why this project actually came about is y'all know we added the 12 by 25 foot steel building in our backyard that turned into my office, and we also like love to hang out there. We have the new, we've been working on our backyard. Y'all have seen all that. And if you haven't, I will have a whole playlist linked down below so you can kind of catch up and see what all we've done to our yard. It is an incredible transformation. It truly is. Not just to like, definitely not trying to toot my own horn or anything, but a lot of love and labor went into it, and we are very proud of our yard for sure. So now the goal is to create a pathway to the beautiful backyard, and I knew eventually after we had the building installed, we have like a side door on the building. I knew that I wanted to have some type of side entrance, for down the line if we ever decide to turn this into like a little, apartment or something like that. I knew we wanted a pathway to the side door, but I also wanted to keep it affordable, and pavers are expensive. Doing any type of yard, any project for that matter, is pricey, and we just so happened to get incredibly lucky because my little brother actually pulled up all the pavers out of his backyard on his patio and replaced it with a concrete slab. So all of his pavers he stacked on the trailer and he gave them to us. So we actually had to go grab that trailer, bring it here, and those are the pavers that we're going to use. They are not perfect. They do have imperfections. They're not all the same size. So you'll see what I'm talking about when I start laying them. I have to create like different different levels of sand. So like I'll have to move some sand away, add more sand to other pavers. Like it was a lot, but I'll show you what I'm talking about. But first step is just tilling up the land. So let's get this done. While he's tilling, I'm actually going to weed eat a little bit. It wasn't necessary for the project that we're working on, but I have a hard time just standing around. I can't just watch him do work. Like I have to be physically working too. So while he was doing that, I was like, oh, I'll go grab the weed eater and weed eat a little bit. Also, I don't know what to do with these vines that are on the fence. They smell so bad, but they also look so pretty, and they do attract butterflies and bees and things like that. So I don't mind them. I actually like that they attract the butterflies. They smell so bad when you go to mess with them. What kind of weeds are those? But they grow so quickly. They do die off in the winter. Sometimes, well, I guess they don't always die off. Sometimes they stay there. I didn't pull them up, but I also feel like if I plant any type of potted garden on this side, I feel like they're going to take over my plants. I could be wrong, but I'm scared that they're going to like cover them and like suffocate them. So anybody who gardens, if you can kind of zoom in on these plants right here on the fence, what are those? So something else, while he was tilling up, I was actually taking a lot of the grass that was over here, because this is actually St. Augustine grass, and this stuff is expensive. If you've ever laid sod, then you know. So anytime I can get like roots of grass, girl, you best believe I'm moving it to a different area of the yard. So that patch that we have in our yard that's like dead from where the little shed was that we just moved out, I am taking all these like little grass clippings and I'm just pouring it all over that area. Most of it will not survive. I am aware of that, but we've done this before and it actually has taken hold and grass has grown in those patches. And for some reason, this area right here never grows grass. That's actually one of the reasons why we ended up putting the shed in this particular space to begin with. So, you know what? I was like, we'll add some of the dirt and grass from where we tilled up just to see if anything would happen. So I dumped it over here and then I just used my rake to kind of spread it out. We probably should actually use the tiller in this area and throw out some seed, and I bet it would come back in the spring and summer. That's actually something we need to do that. I actually need to put that on the to-do list. The to-do list that is never ending. This part of today's video is sponsored by Tapo, and honestly, this is one of those brands that just makes perfect sense for everyday life, because if you're like me, then you have packages showing up, kids running around, and projects going on outside, and you want that peace of mind knowing that everything is going to be watched without dealing with the cords, batteries, or complicated setups. And that is where the Tapo 4K solar camera comes in. It's smart, wireless, affordable, and it's literally powered by the sun. Not to mention, this is hands down the easiest camera we have ever set up, and we've had a couple brands over the years. This one by far is my favorite because of just how simple it is. All you really have to do is just mount it where you want it, connect it to your Wi-Fi, and let the solar panel do the rest. And with just 45 minutes of direct sunlight, the camera powers itself. And thanks to its battery backup, it can actually last up to 200 days on a single charge. So even cloudy days aren't a problem. This camera captures in 4K Ultra HD. That's actually 4 times the detail of standard 1080p, so that way you can zoom in on license plates and even see faces clearly. You can see here just how clear and crisp this camera is, but what's really cool is that at night, when the sun goes down, the starlight color night vision takes over. It uses sensitive starlight sensor and integrated spotlights to record in full color. So you're not going to get that dull black and white night view that most cameras give you. You're going to get clearer footage, faster recognition when something moves at night. You can even talk right through the built-in two-way audio right from your phone or tablet.
You are being recorded. I'm calling the police.
AI detection also helps you tell the difference between people, pets, and vehicles. That way you're not getting false alerts from waving branches or passing cars. And you don't even need a subscription if you don't want it. You can actually save footage locally right on a micro SD card up to 512 gigabytes. It also has a feature where you can set an alarm if anyone tries to tamper with the camera. And it definitely works, and it's pretty loud. So yeah, if you're wanting to monitor your front porch, your driveway, your backyard, the Tapo 4K solar cam gives you full color clarity, solar powered freedom, and reliable protection. It is a simple setup that works hard so you can focus on what matters most, your family and your home. Click the link in my description box to order the Tapo 4K solar cam so you can get that round-the-clock peace of mind that you and your family deserve. After a lot of work, Dylan actually leveled out the dirt and everything. I don't even know where I went. Oh, I know. I went to Lowe's. to grab this, and when I came back, he had the ground all cleared and like packed down. And so this is the weed barrier that we used. So I read so many reviews on different weed barriers, and they all suck. Let's just be real. They're all really bad. I think it's just a matter of, I don't know what the point of this is. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. We're going to see. I'll keep you updated. But what we're going to do is lay the weed barrier down. We're going to add the sand on top of the weed barrier, and then we're going to do the pavers. And then once the pavers are set, we're going to use polymeric sand is what it's called. And you actually pour that into the cracks of the pavers, and that is what finishes off the pavers. So the polymeric sand, from what I understand, keeps the weeds and grass from growing up through the cracks. I don't know. This is my first time ever laying pavers, so if I'm wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. Also, along the edge of the pavers, we are going to do basically where we mix concrete into a wheelbarrow, and we add like a angled little path of concrete just to keep the pavers from folding outward. So if you're wondering why we don't have some type of edge going up, that is why. We're going to use concrete to do that, just a simple little triangle effect. And in part 2, you'll see what I'm talking about. I did film a little bit of that. We had a little bag of concrete left over, so we did mix it and just kind of tested out our theory, and it worked great. So that is the plan, to go down on both sides of the pavers when we get to that point. We're not there yet. This was enough work for me for the entire year. I'm totally joking. No, we're going to finish it. It was just, we had my daughter's birthday party this weekend too, so we ended up having to put a hold on projects until we got through her birthday weekend, and then we have Halloween, and then we'll have free weekends again, and the weather's beautiful right now too, so that's so exciting. Y'all, listen, this time of year, I thrive so much. I hate to get sweaty. I hate being hot, but I'm just a naturally hot type of person. Like, I will sweat so easy. So in the summer, projects are miserable. And it was so funny. Dylan and I were actually having a conversation on the back porch about how we literally, like, took ourselves out this summer trying to work on the pool deck and the patio cover and the concrete slab, and like we did so much work to the backyard, which I'm proud of, but we picked like the worst time to do these projects in the middle of summer. But now we can at least enjoy our nice covered porch and our pool deck in the winter. However, first week of summer next year is about to be amazing. Like I already am I'm planning a party already for next year. Like I cannot wait. We're gonna have a first week of summer break. I'm gonna have like a little pool party. It's gonna be so much fun. I am looking forward to this so much. Now it's time for the sand. So once we got our little weed barrier down, I'm now taking the wheelbarrow and dumping sand. So I'm dumping it, but Dylan's loading it into the wheelbarrow. He's in the back of the truck. So we ended up buying this massive bag of sand. You can get it at Lowe's. They have it by the pro checkout area where like people go into that bay to load like wood and stuff like that. They have these massive white bags. They're either filled with rock or sand, and they're actually really affordable. So we got a big bag of that. By the way, it does seem like a little pricey when you first buy it because you have to rent the bag, but once you return the bag, they give you your money back. So it's actually only like $45 for a bag of sand. Not bad at all. And so, yeah, we're going to load all the sand or unload it. What am I talking about? Load it. Unload it and lay it in like little sections. That way we can spread it out with the rake. All right, real quick, let's address the elephant in the room. This is not what it's going to look like, I promise. This is just me testing out the pavers that I had and trying to create a pretty pattern. I didn't know exactly what I was going to do yet or how wide I was going to go, so I was just kind of trying to visually look at the pavers and see what I had to create a pattern that was going to actually reach all the way down and around. I didn't want to have to go buy more pavers. So I really had to be strategic with this, and it took me a little bit. So this was just like a trial run. Once I figured out a pattern, I then pulled the pavers up, fixed those so that way they were all level, and then I just went to town laying as many pavers as I could. I did mess up though, so just learn from my mistake. Definitely start from the other end and work your way towards where the pavers are at. I should have done this, but instead my silly booty was just like trying to, what it boiled down to was I was trying to figure out a pattern. So when I started the pattern and I really liked it, I wanted to continue that all the way down. But I should have started by the gate and worked my way this way. That way I wasn't having to step over the pavers that I'm working on to go get a new load. Because like the wheelbarrow was having a hard time getting over the pavers. Eventually I ended up creating like a little ramp with an old rug, and I used the wagon to carry my pavers. But it did take time, and it was not the best idea to do it the way I did it. It did end up working in the end. I just created a little bit more work for myself, starting from the front and working my way towards the back. Now, a couple things that I used that made this job much easier for myself was, first off, a pair of gloves. I wore gloves almost the entire time because if not, my fingers would have been wore out. So gloves saved my hands, my fingers tremendously. You also want to make sure that your gloves are tight to your fingers. I had another pair of gloves I tried to use, but they were just too bulky and big, and I was struggling moving the paver around. So tight gloves to your fingers, something just to protect, your fingers from getting like blisters and stuff. You're also going to need a strong mallet. The mallet is essential to like hammer the paver in and down and flat and back to the other pavers. And sometimes like as I was going, I got like a little crooked, so I was able to hammer them straight again, and it worked out really great. So definitely a mallet. Also, wear knee pads, wear eye protection if you can. I did not wear eye protection. I did wear my sunglasses for a while, but I ended up taking them off because I got a little hot and sweaty. However, when I did slam the mallet into the paver, some sand like actually shot out of the crack and went straight into my eyeball. Okay. And I had to take my water bottle and splash myself in the eye to save my own eye. It was horrible. And like when you get sand in your eye, the worst thing you can do is rub it because it's going to scratch it. So I just had to like spray water in my eye, and that was awful. So I wish I would have wore glasses, but I didn't. So learn from my mistake and make sure that you wear some type of glasses to make sure that you don't get sand in your eye like me. But as you can see, the pattern is actually really pretty, and once I start going, you'll see that pattern come together. I did get to the point halfway through where I did have to make an adjustment to the pattern because I was running out of certain pavers. I didn't know what I had when I got started because the way the pavers were stacked, some were under others. So it wasn't until I got halfway through that I had to kind of switch the pattern a little bit. Thankfully, I had enough of the outer edge to keep that pattern going all the way through, so you really can't tell that I changed the pattern halfway, unless I told you, and now I told you, so now you're going to notice it, but just don't look too hard. Okay, I've been hard at it. I did notice that towards the end here, it starts to kind of make a turn. So I'm gonna use the mallet here and try to like hammer things back straight. It's really hard to go in a straight line without like lines and stringers and stuff like that. Probably should have done that, but I didn't, so we're winging it. It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be totally fine. But I still have a whole lot of pavers. Pavers. Did I say papers? I don't even know what I just said. I'm so tired. I have a lot to go. But it's coming together. It's looking so good. I'm really excited to get this done so I can work on the next project. It was about at this point where I started to realize I was running out of certain brick or certain paver. I call them bricks, whatever. Bricks, pavers, same thing. I started to realize I was running out of certain shapes. So the smallest squares is what I started to run out of. And I was like, oh no, that is like the pathway. That's the center design. Like this is important. So at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm going to use what I have. Some of them were like chipped and stuff. And I was like, it's fine. Like it just adds character, right? So I just keep going and I'm just doing my best. And at that point, I ended up being able to, I don't even know how it happened, like the way that they ended up laying. I ended up being able to use the two rectangles and they ended up kind of creating like a brick, like an actual brick pattern. And it actually turned out really pretty. So I'm really happy with the way that it ended up turning out. I think that it looks really good, especially like right around this corner. By the time I got to this point, I was like a professional. You know, like the pathway starting might not be the best, but when I hit this point, I was like, okay, I got this. So I just kept powering through. And then I wanted to tell you a quick story that happened. So I ordered lunch because I was obviously working hard and I ordered Subway. So the DoorDash guy gets to the house, he pulls in and I'm standing in the trailer at this point, like throwing bricks into the wagon. And he like holds up a sandwich and I'm like, oh, thank you so much. You can just put it by the door. And he was like going to bring it to me. I'm like, no, it's fine. I'm fixing to go in and have lunch anyway. And then he's like, are you doing this by yourself? And I was like, yes, sir. He's like, that's pretty cool. And so he actually walked over to see what I was working on. I was like kind of embarrassed, but also at the same time like super proud because like I know I don't like lay pavers for a living. So when people are like inspecting your work, it makes you feel kind of nervous. But also like it was really nice to like be encouraged by a complete stranger. He was just like, you're doing great. Keep up the hard work. So it definitely gave like a little bit of fire under me after lunch to finish up and keep powering through because I know it when it all comes together and the plants are there and we have like a mulch or just whatever we decide to do, like I know it's going to be beautiful and I'm going to be so proud of that. But yeah, the little interaction with the guy who delivered my Subway was really neat and I really appreciated his encouragement. Also, I just want to say for anybody who's a delivery driver, whether it's DoorDash, Instacart, Walmart delivery service, anything like that, I just want you to know that your job is so appreciated, especially by people like me and many other moms, stay-at-home moms that are busy and need help. Like I know a lot of us that are so thankful for that service. So in case you're ever feeling like your job is not making a difference, it totally is. And for instance, this day where I'm hot, sweaty, full of sand, the last thing I wanted to do was stop what I was doing to grab myself lunch. I actually was going to power through lunch and not even get anything because I just didn't even want to have to deal with going to cook or having to grab something. So having that as an option, number one, is something I feel so privileged to be able to do and order. But number two, I am so grateful that someone actually brought that to me. So anyway, just in case you ever felt like you were not being noticed or appreciated for the work you do, please know that that is just not the case in our situation. Like we do see you, we notice, we appreciate it so very much. So thank you. I'm down here at the end. It's not leveled out yet, but I'm running into like a little bit of a dilemma. I'm gonna have to switch up the design so to go that way, but I'll figure it out. But I gotta stop. I'm so done. This has been such a ton of work, but it looks amazing. I'm really excited. This is so nice. The next day, so I was actually prepping and cleaning for my daughter's party, and just to kind of make the little corner area look a little bit more presentable, I grabbed this tree that I had in the back patio, and I'm actually going to put it right here. It's not going to stay here because I don't like it, but I don't know. I was just trying something. And then all of my mums that are on the front porch, I'm actually soaking those in our little kiddie pool. These did not survive. You guys, I just want to make it very clear. I watered my flowers, my plants, flowers, whatever I'm trying to say. I watered them so much. I soaked them in a tub like every 2 days. I watered them from the root only every day, and they still died. They're crisp. I don't know what happened. It was like almost like the weather changed because we had like cooler weather, and then boom, it got like a really hot, and then it got cooler again, and then they just all croaked. I don't know.